Did you know that your Wi-Fi could have more vulnerabilities than you think? Today, we're exploring all Wi-Fi vulnerabilities, breaking them down into easy-to-understand categories. By the end, you'll know how to protect yourself from hackers. 1. Protocol weaknesses. Wi-Fi protocols determine how data is encrypted and transmitted. Many vulnerabilities arise from flaws in these protocols. 1.1 WEP, Wired Equivalent Privacy. Weak encryption uses RC4 encryption with a static 24-bit initialization vector, 4. For collisions, make it predictable. FMS attack exploits weak IVs to recover the encryption key. Replay attacks, attacker captures encrypted packets and replays them to manipulate the network. 1.2 WPA/WPA2, Wi-Fi protected access. Crack attack exploits the four-way handshake, allowing attackers to decrypt or inject malicious traffic without the network password. PMKID attack captures the pairwise master key identifier, PMKID, for offline brute force attacks to retrieve the network password. GTK exploits allows injection of arbitrary packets by exploiting the group temporal key, GTK. 1.3 WPA3, Wi-Fi protected access 3. Dragon Blood vulnerability exposes side channel information and allows downgrade attacks to WPA2. Weak password risks. WPA3's reliance on user passwords still makes it vulnerable to dictionary attacks if weak passwords are used. 2. Configuration vulnerabilities. Poor configurations can make even secure networks vulnerable. 2.1 Default SIDs and passwords. Many routers ship with default credentials, e.g., admin/admin, which are easily guessed or available online. 2.2 Weak passphrase. Short or simple passwords are susceptible to brute force or dictionary attacks using tools like Hashcat. 2.3 WPS, Wi-Fi protected setup. WPS uses an 8-digit PIN that is easily brute forced. Attackers exploit its lack of rate limiting. 2.4 Hidden SIDs. Hidden networks don't broadcast their names but rely on client devices to send probe requests, which attackers can intercept. 2.5 Open networks. Lack of encryption on open networks allows anyone to intercept traffic using packet sniffers like Wireshark. 3. Network-level vulnerabilities. These attacks target the communication between devices on the network. 3.1 Deauthentication attacks. Sends fake DOS packets to disconnect users, often used to capture WPA handshakes or disrupt services. 3.2 Man-in-the-Middle, MITM, attacks. Intercepts communications by routing traffic through the attacker's device, allowing data theft or modification. 3.3 ARP spoofing. Sends fake ARP responses to associate the attacker's MAC address with a legitimate IP address, redirecting traffic. 3.4 DNS spoofing. Alters DNS queries to redirect users to malicious websites without their knowledge. 3.5 Wi-Fi jamming. Overwhelms the network frequency with interference, making it unusable. 3. 6 Packet sniffing. Captures network packets to extract unencrypted data like login credentials or browsing history. 4. Device and firmware vulnerabilities. Routers and connected devices often have their own security issues. 4.1 Router backdoors. Some routers have hard-coded credentials or open management interfaces, allowing remote exploitation. 4.2 Outdated firmware. Unpatched vulnerabilities in router firmware can allow attackers to gain unauthorized access. 4.3 IoT device exploits. Smart devices often have weak security configurations, creating entry points for attackers. 4.4 Remote code execution, RCE. Firmware bugs can allow attackers to execute arbitrary code on the router or connected devices. 5. Advanced attack techniques. Sophisticated attacks that exploit deeper flaws in Wi-Fi technology. 5.1 Evil twin attack. Sets up a fake access point, AP, that mimics a legitimate network, tricking users into connecting and exposing their data. 5.2 Beacon frame injection. Sends malicious beacon frames to manipulate how devices perceive the network, leading to disruption or redirection. 5.3 Fragmentation and aggregation attacks, FRAG attacks. Exploits flaws in how Wi-Fi frames are fragmented and reassembled, allowing attackers to inject malicious data. 5.4802.11 Frame injection. Sends spoofed management or control frames to disrupt or manipulate network operations. 6. Social engineering vulnerabilities. Exploiting human error or trust rather than technical flaws. 6.1 Phishing over Wi-Fi. Hackers use fake login portals or phishing sites to steal credentials from users connected to their rogue access point. 6.2 Shoulder surfing. Observing users as they type Wi-Fi passwords or other sensitive information. 6.3 Malicious QR codes. Scanning a compromised QR code can automatically connect a device to a rogue Wi-Fi network.